This horse has no idea what you want. He doesn't know that you want him to stand next to you because you've been spending this whole time getting him out of your space. Hey bitch, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me. I know my last video was incredibly difficult to stomach and difficult to watch. I wanted to let everyone know that since my last video was more of a documentary style, that video is available on members and Patreon for those of you who couldn't watch it because of the age restriction that was on the video. But enough of that. I wanted to be in a happy mood for this video because my last video was so much. It was just really hard on me personally, and I just want to kind of get back to my usual self for this video, so we're going to be doing a reaction. But you guys, super exciting. We have a sponsor for today's video, and it is Pevo. Thank you so much to Pevo for sponsoring me yet again. I have worked with Pevo so many times in the past, and as you guys know, if you follow me on Patreon or YouTube members, I film almost all of my riding videos at the barn with Pevo. No joke, because I don't have a videographer that goes out with me, and a lot of my videos are just vlog style, so Pevo is truly a lifesaver, and I love all of their gear. I'm not kidding you guys, I use it every day that I film for the last several years. If you're unfamiliar with what Pevo is, it's basically an AI camera tracking device that you can hook up your phone to, or a GoPro, or really any other camera, and install the app on your phone, and it tracks your movement. One of the best features about Pevo is they literally have an equestrian edition that is designed to capture your riding at different speeds while you're at the barn if you don't have anybody to go with you to record your sessions. This is honestly so useful. I've even used this when I'm not filming videos just to track my progress in lessons or training, just so that way I know how I'm riding and I know how I look and things I need to improve. So even if you're not using it to film videos, it's amazing to record yourself and record your progress, and it really helped me a lot with my riding, especially on days where I didn't have a lesson instructor with me or any of my trainers. And you don't even have to have a horse to use Pevo. You can obviously use it to track yourself, to track your movements. Maybe you're doing some other type of activity. So massive thank you to Pevo for sponsoring this video. Definitely click that link down below, you guys. I love them so much, and I'm so happy that they sponsored me yet again because I love working with brands that I've been using for years. I mean, seriously, I can attest to the quality of these products because I've been working with Pevo for so long, and I could not be happier. So check them out, you guys. Massive thanks again, but let's get to the video.
Okay, now he's starting to get a little resistant with leading. See what's happening? Okay, he's going to probably pull me out of the frame. Okay. I'm going to back him up and curve back him.
I am dead inside.
It's been a while since I just sat down and just complained about someone. And I saw that probably 4 or 5 people sent this video to me, and I was like, okay, you know, usually when I see back-to-back emails from different people of the same video, then usually I'm like, all right, this might be worth actually sitting down and making a separate video on. So this is a miniature horse groundwork mini-series conducted by a trainer. Now, the reason why I always use air quotes when referring to people on the internet is because you should be really wary anytime you see a training video online. Anyone can call themselves a trainer. So just because someone says that they're a trainer doesn't mean that they actually are. And not to mention, you're only as good of a trainer as the last horse you trained.
This is River. He's a 9-year-old stallion, and he's actually the father of my world champion mare, Brooklyn. So he's a little bit special to me. I just got him 2 days ago, so he is brand new to me. He hasn't been handled consistently for a while. He was shown when he was 3 and 4 years old, but then he was pretty much just out in the pasture the rest of the time. He's a quiet stallion and he's sweet, but he doesn't really have any formal manners ingrained in him, and what showing experience he's had, it's very, very rusty. So I wanted to create a special short series with him to just show the basic groundwork and any type of troubleshooting that may come up.
I just love it when initially, right out of the gate, people will be like, oh yeah, this horse is really bad and this horse has problems, when the horse is just standing there doing absolutely nothing at all. Most people, I think, just want there to be problems and just want to make a bigger deal out of things than it actually is, to try to make themselves look like a real trainer. Huge misconception before we get into anything else. Actually, I think Shelby Dennis was the first person to point this out who I saw on social media. I don't have a lot of experience working with stallions, but every single person who I know who works with stallions or has worked with stallions has constantly talked a lot about the misconceptions around stallions being dangerous. A lot of people like to pretend like stallions are these just incredibly dangerous animals, and you have to be really hard-handed with them and firm and aggressive and dominating, and that's just not true. And I actually feel like stallions get abused because of that mentality, and they get mistreated because of that mentality, and I think Shelby Dennis did a really good job of pointing it out, but I just wanted to say that. I think being safe is one thing, but preemptively expecting problems from a horse that has not shown problems is just being a dick.
And he's also a stallion, so there will be unique challenges with that at moments potentially as well. So sit back, relax. The first exercise I'm going to introduce to River is the stopping and leading exercise, my first exercise in the Star Point programs. I'm also going to be doing a combination of the circle collecting and the correct veering and a lot of backing with him. And I'm just going to start this with him and see how he reacts and what he does. Just going to start walking him. And I have my training stick behind me just to prompt him to stay out of my space.
Okay, right out of the gate, she has clearly already tormented this horse with that whip, because you can see his reaction already to her doing this exercise, and he's trying to distance himself away from her and like get away from the whip, because I guarantee you she's already done shit with him, and he's pretty scared of it.
So this is the beginning of very rough circle collecting, if you're familiar with my groundwork programs. Just to get the horse's hindquarters and shoulders out of your space, and for your horse to start arcing their head and neck into you to soften their poll. Okay? So I'm going to try to walk him straight and stop and see what he just did. See how he veered? So the way to fix that, you're going to take your stick, bump the halter up. I'm going to tap his outside.
That's what you've been teaching him. What are you talking about? God, this poor horse. First of all, we don't even know if there's a problem because she didn't show the horse walking ahead of time to show the audience that he did have a problem with staying out of her space. So likely this horse doesn't have a problem with staying out of her space, and she's just doing this to try to make a video for content to look like a trainer. This horse is staying out of her space. Matter of fact, this horse doesn't want to be around her. Look at him. When he stops, he moves away from her. He doesn't want to be in her space. And that's exactly what she's teaching him by making him afraid of the whip. He's moving away from her, and he doesn't want to be around you. So this horse is already doing what you want because he's afraid of you. And then she stops him, and oh, what do you know? He moves away from her. Because that's literally what she was teaching him that whole time, was to get out of her space and be afraid of the whip. And then she stops and she's like, oh, see, he moved away from me. Now I don't like that. I don't want him moving away from me when we stop. Well, guess what? That's what you've been teaching this horse this whole time. So do you want him to move away from you or not?
There we go. And I'm going to get his hindquarters to disengage and then back him up and correct and then rub to a stop. I did that in slow motion. A little slower than I normally would naturally to correct, just to show you the example. So let's walk him back around and see if he stops straight this time or if he wiggles around again. I'm going to stop and see how he wiggled. So nice tension. Tap. Now the tension in the halter is for him to not walk forward.
What are you teaching him? All you're teaching him is to move away from you. So he's gonna keep doing that every time you stop because you don't want him in your space, and he doesn't want to be in your space because he's afraid of you. I love how she's like, see, now we're gonna correct it. Okay, all you're doing is just chasing him around with a whip, and you're just teaching him to move further away from you. This horse has no idea what you want. He doesn't know that you want him to stand next to you because you've been spending this whole time getting him out of your space. You're just setting this horse up to fail. And a lot of trainers, I don't know if she's doing this intentionally or if she's just stupid, but a lot of trainers will do stuff like this intentionally to make the horse look like it has problems and then make it look like they're actually fixing problems when the horse never had issues.
That's why I do that. Okay, he seems a little antsy this morning. I just pulled him out of the stall. There, that was nicer. Now see, he's still veered. I'm going to lightly correct that around. And see how he's trying to back up instead of really disengage his hindquarters? That's okay. I just want his energy to be sucking back away and out of my space. That's all I'm trying to teach this horse right now.
But you're... What? So you're saying that all you're trying to teach him is to get out of your space, but then when he does get out of your space at the walk, you don't want him to do that, so you're teaching him to be in your space when you stop him at the walk. What do you want? What? What do you want?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
Now I'm still going to hold my leverage point with him so that he doesn't just back up freely and out of control, and because you could lose him that way too. So always keep this pressure point here if you're correcting veering with the horse and they're wiggling around. Okay? Point my hand, gesture to him to go. I'm going to give him just a light little tap. There we go. Get him to circle around. Get a nice space. See? As soon as the horse veers, and see how he's backing, but I'm keeping the tension there until he actually gives me the disengage. I want him to learn what I want, not just back up and get out of my space. That's a component of what I want for sure, but I actually want to correct what he's doing and teach him that difference as well. Okay, now he's starting to get a little resistant with leading. See what's happening? Okay, he's going to probably pull me out of the frame.
I want people to know that, like, this trainer, I don't even really want to give her the credit of calling her that because she's not. She's not teaching this horse anything other than to get away from her and be afraid of her. All these times where she's like, see, I'm trying to get him to disengage. There he goes. Well, he didn't actually do that. So you're not getting him to disengage his hindquarters. You're not getting him to listen to you or be out of your space in a positive way, like give you space in a positive way. All you're doing is just teaching him to be afraid of you and to never want to be around you. She's like, see, I got a little resistance there. Yeah, because you're asking him to get away from you and he's doing that. That's horse behavior 101. And then you're punishing him for doing what you're asking him to do.
Out of the frame, and I just basically tried to pull him back just so he's back in the camera here. So he did want to lead forward. So when that happens, then you're going to go to your hindquarter control. You're just going to switch positions and get him to disengage and just take their control back, just like that.
Notice how he's not disengaging at all. Like, just because your horse is moving around doesn't mean their hindquarters are actually disengaged. She literally doesn't know what she's saying. She's just causing this horse to be frantic and back away from her. This horse is not disengaged. He's just trying to get out of her space.
And just take their control back, just like that, okay? And then once you do that a few times and they're freely responding to you in that way, then you can ask for the disengage. See how I'm kind of backing up into his hindquarters right now? He doesn't want to walk forward, so I'm going to just drive this energy around and just slowly try to inch him forward step by step. Okay? I'm going to back him up and curve back him. There. Change my body positioning, kind of launch him at a walk. There we go. I'm just doing a combination of troubleshooting with him. So if you are familiar with my groundwork programs, you're going to see kind of what I'm doing with him, my strategy right now, with how he's acting and what I'm choosing to do. There we go. Now he's walking forward. Good boy.
This is why horses have problems, because people send their horses to shitty trainers like this that are not even real trainers. This woman has no idea what she's doing, and this poor horse is literally just being chased around an arena and trying to get away from her, and she's not teaching him anything at all.
Very, very good boy. Because he locked up his shoulder and he didn't want to walk forward and he started to lean out excessively.
I wonder why. I wonder why he didn't want to go forward. Maybe it's because you spent the whole time teaching him to go away from you.
I'm going to point forward. See, now he's learned, even in just the 24 hours I've had him, I haven't formally worked with him, but there were a couple of times I got after him because he was in my space. There, that's nice. Curve back him and then rub.
Yeah, we know you got after him a couple times because this horse is clearly already frightened of the whip. Also, I love it when they pet the horse after they abuse them or confuse the crap out of them. Like, oh, good boy. You're such a good boy. Fuck you, dude.
So I think that what you just saw, his apprehensiveness to walk forward, it was also just him trying to figure out and balance his energy with mine. Because I've really been just trying to teach him, just with the daily handling and leading him for a day, just stay out of my space, and bumped him back a couple of times. So now he's starting to figure out it's not always just a correction of, hey, get out of my space. I went to maybe a 5 in my energy a couple of times with him to get him out of my space and not be obstinate. And so now he's learning, oh, okay, I can behave, but I only have to go to a 1 or 2.
How much do you want to bet this horse had no problems staying out of her space beforehand, and she's just creating issues to make it look like the horse did? Because here's the thing. If you've ever worked with a horse that has issues with spatial awareness with humans, it's not corrected within 24 hours, okay? No horse, unless you're beating them, obviously, but no horse that has been, babied or pampered, which is usually when you see horses that don't know how to stay out of your space. Those horses take a significant amount of time to teach spatial awareness and to teach them that you don't want them coming into your personal space. They have to respect boundaries and stuff. It's not something you can just resolve overnight. And the fact that she's saying, oh, see, look at how much better he's doing already. Yeah, he probably was totally fine beforehand.
Okay. Very smart boy. Okay, he's not paying attention. There's people up there walking around in our neighborhood. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to back him up. I'm going to go and curve back him. I'm going to bump up, tip the nose out, bump and tap, bump and tap. Nope, let's see how he veered. Let's correct that. There. Okay.
Oh my god, I literally can't watch any more of this. You guys can go watch the rest of the video if you want. The amount of bad trainers that I react to is actually shocking, and I think it's because a lot of these people, I don't believe that they're being malicious. Like, I don't believe that she's intentionally trying to be mean to this horse. Maybe she is. I just think a lot of people don't know what they're doing. And a lot of people slap this label on themselves as trainer when they don't know what they're doing at all, and they're not a trainer. And they have no formal training to be able to call themselves that anyway. I guess the moral of the story is don't just listen to somebody or follow them because they say that they're a trainer. Actually make sure that that they have qualifications and that they are actually able to train quality horses, you should always look at the results of the horses that they've previously trained to understand if you want a horse that's like those. And like I said, you're only as good as the last horse that you trained. So if the last horse you trained is shit, then your training is probably shit. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to check out Pevo. Again, thank you so much to Pevo for sponsoring this video. I love them. Their link is going to be down below. However, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!